Alright, we're back, everybody. It's time to edit some Moo video. All finished with lunch. Got myself a inspirational drink. And we're going to get to it. Today's video is Drink of Destiny. This is Nuff from Main Event Pong. Nuff was visiting us a little while back, and he's facing off against Herr Pink, myself. This video is not scheduled to be uploaded until June 4th. So you guys are getting a super advanced screening of this video. So just bear that in mind, that this video won't be out for a while. And that is how far ahead of editing I'm trying to be, and how far ahead of filming we try to be pretty much at all times. Alright, let's get to it. Here we go. A lovely Adobe Premiere setup. So I already have my template open and my videos that I'm working with imported to my library. Good job, Wicked. What up, Knights of the Brew Table? Just over here editing a video for funsies on the internet. We just got done streaming some Proxy Art Challenge. So if you ever want to see that stuff, it's in the videos. In our videos. You can check it out. Alright, Thomas, thanks for showing up. See you later. Crickets Unite. I don't know what's going on for you, buddy. Maybe you can't view live video for some reason? Is anybody else having video problems viewing a video? Okay, let's go ahead and get to it. Here are all my videos, my clips. Drag them into the timeline, and as you can see, our template timeline is a lot different than the last time we edited a video. There's a lot more shit in here, that's for sure. Before we edited, I think, a Bro Beer. If I remember right, Bro Beer is a lot simpler than Drink of Destiny. Now, Drink of Destiny actually doesn't take too much time to edit, which is nice, because it's a good video series, at least I think. It does take a bit longer to film, but that's just how it goes. So look at all these videos. I got lots of shit all in one folder. Not the best way to do it, but at least it's named in a good manner. So we got Drink of Destiny 64, Pink versus Nuff. Again, we want to name everything first. Then you don't forget. There we go. Yeah, I don't know, Cricket. I can't really help you. Today's inspirational drink is brought to you by myself, because it's a saison I made. It's just kind of okay. Okie dokie. So, first thing I like to do when editing Drink of Destiny, remember, we always have rules for these various videos. Here's our intro, of course. Ooh. My audio is really loud right now. Let me turn that down just a wee bit. There's your title. It's already set up, and then you jump in. So I always film the introduction to all 3 sections before we even start filming the video. That's all the setup. Takes a lot of setup to get Drink of Destiny out of the way.
For our first spin, the alcohol, we have Smirnoff Watermelon in red.
Smirnoff Watermelon.
Loco Nut in yellow. Jägermeister in green. And Jalapeno Wine in blue.
Yeah, so I generally like these sort of product introductions to not have any cuts in them. It just feels better that way to me for some reason. Even though a lot of times we'll have these like long pauses. If these pauses in between each one were any longer, I would definitely cut these up a bit more. But I think they were right about on the edge. It gives you that nice like cool down period in between all the spinning. It's still mostly fun for me. I enjoy editing. I think there's certain video series that are less fun to edit from time to time. Like I would say Raffle Waffle, probably my least favorite, just because those videos take so long to film, and then in addition they take so long to edit that by the time I'm done with it, I'm just like, I don't want to see any more waffles ever again. So that's the first introductory clip. It's that easy. Just clip down the edges basically. And then drag him out of the way. Come to the next one. And we're going to do the same thing.
For our second spin, the mixer. We have UCC Coffee in red. Coors Light in...
Let's turn this up a little bit again.
In yellow. Yogu Time in green. And whatever the hell this is in blue.
Most of the time I haven't read these products or planned this beforehand, so I'm just reading it live. And if I can't read the label, then I'll just make something up. Because we are consummate professionals.
For our final spin, the Prestige. We have Thai Red Curry in red. Plum Sauce in yellow. Kewpie Mayonnaise in green. And Oriental Hot Mustard in blue.
Boom. So there's all 3 of the, product read-offs. Easy peasy. Slide those out of the way, and then I start editing the main body. So there's a lot of setup to Drink of Destiny, but it's actually pretty straightforward to film, and it usually all fits in one clip, which is great. Because then it's super easy to, manage that kind of stuff.
Everybody's in frame? Go to thumbnail, everybody.
Always start with your thumbnail.
Yeah!
If you're smart.
Yeah! Oh, there you go, yeah.
So we don't need any of this stuff for the video. This is just for thumbnail purposes.
Welcome to Drink of Destiny!
Okay, so now we're getting into it. We need a little bit of buffer space at the beginning because the music, fades out, and then the audio of us fades in.
Welcome to
And you don't want too much overlap there, so you can still understand what's happening.
Drink of Destiny! Today it is the final round between Nuff and Kobu! Nuff, are you ready? Yes.
Enough, very polite, yes. I think we just get to it at that point.
Are you ready? No! Alright, we're gonna do it anyways.
Sure. That's a dumb joke, but I'll leave it in there. So, we drag in the read-off, the first read-off. These are in order, so it's easy to remember what we're doing. We got the the alcohol first set of products. So the way I have this template set up is I have these little sequences that flash in, and it shows, you know, first spin, second spin, third spin. And these are just little floating guys here with the music already attached. And all I got to do is move these into position where I want. So I have very strict rules on these little cuts that I add, where I have my own custom flash. You see how the video gets brighter here? And then darkens in. It's just a little cut I add. That kind of cut I like to use whenever I'm like transitioning between ideas or actors, as we would call them. And that's just to show that like a bigger change has happened than just a normal cut. It's sort of a subliminal thing. And these are exactly 6 frames. So I know that I want that flash to reach its apex on the center of this, or right when this cut happens, so I go back 3 frames. And then when I'm aligned to the text, my flash is hanging out just as much as I want. And that way, it does exactly what I want when it cuts here.
But anyways, for our first spin, the alcohol, we have Smirnoff Watermelon in red, Loco Nut in yellow, Jägermeister in green, and Jalapeno Wine in blue.
Cool. So now I'm just dragging my video back in using the full timeline control so I can select everything on the timeline.
Yeah, you have 2, so I think. Oh God! All right. Yeah, you know the rules. I don't want to though.
Then we'll just jump right into the action once we get back to it. Pasting in another one of our flashy cuts. Okay, so the other thing we do with these edits is we add music when the wheel is spinning, which we already got the cuts of the music in there. Boom! What I like to do is have this music fade out pretty much exactly when the wheel stops spinning for the first time. You know how our wheel is, it'll go backwards. Just like that.
Green!
Jägermeister!
Oh,
this is Mama's milk right here.
This is where you shine, son.
Better you than me.
So we don't need too much of this. We just need to convey the idea that, yes, we are pouring the shots into the glass. So sometimes I'll include both. Sometimes I only have one shot. Really depends on how well it was filmed. Loafy's kind of all over the place here, so we'll take quick cuts. Bump to bump to bump. We're going to use these cuts. Says, hey, we put 2 shots in here, and then get a shot of trying it out.
He's doing
Hey,
a
he's
full
doing a full
shot.
shot because he's an asshole.
Oh,
Jesus.
baby.
Such a fucking disgusting motherfucker.
I love it. Jaeger's delicious.
Yeah, you're fucking telling me.
Jaeger's delicious.
Yeah, you're.
Jaeger is delicious. I don't care what you say. I love Jaeger. Firefox is better. Oh, cool. I'm glad you can find a browser that works. YouTube is like telling me that like something weird is I don't know, it says it's fine now. They have like a stream health thing that shows you a color of like how it's doing. And it'll be yellow for random reasons sometimes. I think that's all up to YouTube. I can't really do anything to help that out. I definitely have it set to stream as friendly a stream as possible, which means that it's low latency, which means it's trying to get stuff to you as quick as possible. Okay. So I got my spin done, which means it's Nuff's turn. We're just going to scrub to where he's at.
I agree with you.
Anything but green.
Don't really need that last click. Here we go. We'll use this.
Anything but green.
Then find where you start spinning. And then use, again, our clip of the music here of the wheel spinning.
I'm just wondering where it's gonna go from there. Ah, fuck! Keep going. Keep going. Yeah! Now, since you both got green, does he get a potential respin?
No, I'm taking it as it lies.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a man.
I'm taking it as it lies.
He's a man.
He's a man.
He's a man.
Okay. I think that's enough of what is happening in that cut. Don't really need both. We already conveyed the idea that we pour 2 shots in with the first clip.
Oh, he will.
Oh, here we go. We got to get enough pouring a whole shot to match me.
Oh, he will not be outdone.
He's a big boy.
Yes.
Nope's a big boy.
Mm.
God, I hate Jaeger.
Oh, Nuff. Okay, that's a pretty good line to end it on and just jump right into the next spin. So you can see already that this video editing is going pretty quick. One spin down, next spin up. Again, our template has our title. Just drag it into place exactly where we know it needs to go. Ooh, I just got an email. Nothing important. Okay, get our video back in here. Yeah.
Mix it up. The mixer. Mix it up.
Okay, get this guy over here. Put our flash in, get our music over. Right about here. That's where we want the music to stop.
Blue!
Do you ever feel weird watching yourself back while editing? Not usually. I don't have a hard time being disjointed from the performance and the editing part of this stuff. Sometimes, I guess, like if it was a live show or something back in the old days, where I got super drunk and don't remember doing what I was doing, then it can get a little weird.
So, you get your choice. You want the brain
Oh.
or the fit?
I like to think I'm more brain than fit, but you know enough, I'm going to let you pick.
How many more calories do I want to give you? Let's see. I'm going to go with the apricot. I'm going to go with the fit.
Oh!
I'll give you less calories on that.
Like all of this going on here.
Yeah. Keep that.
I don't know. I think the tropical might have went better with that than the apricot. So you have more choices with the tropical than the apricot. So.
Well, I'm just glad you didn't give me the dented one.
Oh.
Oh, should I?
The one with botulism.
It's kind of dented one. It's a good joke at the end on. Just get to the cut where I'm actually pouring the stuff.
Delicious.
There we go.
Oh,
It probably
so
won't
light.
taste like anything.
There we go.
Yeah, that's good.
Just like LaCroix.
Yeah, I mean, it smells way better than it tastes, but it tastes like sucralose and like a watered down oh god, NOS. Yeah, that's what it tastes like. A watered down NOS. Like if you added 10% Gatorade to NOS and then a ton of water.
It's not bad.
But it's low calorie.
It's not bad, but it could be better. It smells so good, though.
I like NOS.
All right. Well, am I gonna?
Something funny every single person does on Drink of Destiny is right before they spin, they evaluate the table and look at all the items and try to figure out which one they actually want, as if somehow that's going to help them. They're spinning a wheel that gives it to them randomly. It doesn't matter what's on the table, or how much they want one, or how much they don't want another one. They're going to get what they get. And yet they still try to focus. They try to use their wish it, want to get it sort of thing.
I'm not gonna say what I don't want because that didn't help me the last time. That didn't help me the last time.
Gotta tickle the wheel while it spins.
Green!
Oh, this stuff.
Yogu!
Yeah, the Yogu White Peach time. All right.
Yeah.
Yogurt drink.
Mm-hmm.
We all know yogurt mixes great with Jägermeister.
Jaeger. We all know.
Yo
That classic
Jaeger.
combination.
Does it though? Does it?
Yo Jaeger! Wait, that one that center up.
Yeah, that had a gag in it. I think this will too. Oh boy.
Yeah, let's get right to the pouring. That's the good stuff.
Oh.
Can't wait till I get me some yogurt.
Now it just looks like a Thai iced tea.
Yeah, it's layered.
There we go.
Nice. Okay.
Those are pretty good, actually. Those yogurt drinks, I love them. Those are pretty good. Those are pretty good, actually. Those yogurt drinks, I love them.
Well, that's got a good taste.
Yeah.
It's nice. That might actually help me.
Okay, I mean, I'm in there, Nuss in there. That's second spin down. Already. Then we can jump in and get the third spin up, and yeah. My template has an extra spin here, just because I'm lazy and don't update my template.
Well, that's got a good taste.
Yeah.
For our final spin, the Prestige, we have Thai Red Curry.
Okie dokie. Final spin.
It's nice.
When the regret starts setting in.
Good luck.
Final spin. When the regret starts setting in.
Have you tried Hand of the Queen? Oh, they got another beer? Dang. No, I have not tried Hand of the Queen. Barley wine, huh?
Good luck.
Interesting.
No regrets.
Don't do me dirty.
Come on, green.
Oh, yeah, baby.
This is where. This is the moment, right? This is the moment. Everything.
Wait, isn't that a smoker's log?
This is like the record scratch. You're probably wondering how I got here right now.
Now we're gonna turn this into some sobu drink.
Oh, this big just feels
It's
good.
coming up
Oh,
top, baby.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was so close. So close to
That's
a
okay. I
thing.
shouldn't be laughing. I still got to spin too.
Someone's moving their beef cup of noodles from the styrofoam. Fancy.
Yeah, right.
Whoa,
Right.
whoa!
It's good mayo.
I love mayonnaise, but this is strong mayonnaise. You need
Yes.
you need something like bland and starchy to go with this. You
Yeah,
do not,
rice.
You do not want Jägermeister. I already said
The sushi mayo, baby. You want that
the
one.
plum sauce I could have done, but nope, not that.
I kind of want the mustard.
Cut right, enough spin.
Jägermeister.
No.
Keep going to green. Red.
All right, so it's the curry.
Curry. Oh, you lucky son of a.
Red curry. All right. Red curry. All right.
Tried Scrapple? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's something we can really find around here very easily. What up, Jam?
Lucky's a.
We don't need this compelling video of Nuff trying to open a container, so just cut that right out.
Wait.
Look at all this. Look at all this garbage. This garbage.
Holy shit!
Oh god. Let's see. Oh, this shit is pretty hard.
Oh, we might need a butter knife.
This shit's
Oh, yeah,
pretty
there
tough.
we go.
Hold on, let me give it a little.
Oh,
that's not even helping.
Oh wow!
Oh no!
You can't even catch up
Oh
that shit?
no!
oh
Oh no!
Okay.
Oh god!
Okay. There you go.
Oh.
God! Oh no!
Are you telling me it just had a hard cap on the top?
It's so runny! Oh, look at the little grease sheen on top.
Oh, that was too much of a taste.
There we
Oh,
go.
Jesus.
That's
That's too much
a
of
good
a taste.
There you go.
Oh,
You don't have to eat it all. Just taste.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's kind of coconutty, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it should be good.
That's red curry.
That's
I
not bad.
absolutely love Penang curry.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love Penang chicken. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, it's so good, but
Alright, I'm mixing that.
Let's see. Yeah, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Penang chicken. Oh, it's so good.
I should have put mine through the blender first.
What up, Biff?
this to you because
Color-wise, they're a little...
not texture-wise.
not texture-wise. Don't give it to me on my account. Color-wise, they're looking kind of similar. Color-wise, they're looking kind of similar.
Not texture-wise.
Not texture-wise, no. Trust me, I'm familiar with that.
You want some of these? You
I
want to
don't
even it
care.
out?
Throw some on there.
That's a little bit fun back and forth. Let's get to the naming.
What do you want to call that, Pink?
I'm gonna call this the Fourth Reich.
Oh no!
I'll call mine the Currymeister.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Remember the German Jägermeister.
What do you want?
All right.
This looks like the horny
All
frog.
right. Keep it on the table. Keep it on the table until he says go.
All right.
Wait.
Yep.
I gotta come to terms with what's happening.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad.
Try to wrap your head around it. This is happening. This is going to happen.
I feel like one of the two of us is gonna get sick in a second here.
Yeah, we might just puke on each other, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna get very intimate. We need somebody to hold his hair back.
If you guys do, we're gonna have to put that on Pornhub.
Mm-hmm. All right then,
All
everybody.
right.
2, 3, 2, 1, go! Fucking enough.
Oh!
Oh, enough. What have you done? Alright, something I forgot to put into my template, because I'm a jerk, is some music that I've started doing near the end here. So we'll go ahead and open the last drink of Destiny and just grab it out of there. I just like to put a little bit of music in that last part where, you know, where it really builds up. Oh yeah, now YouTube is warning me about the video. Let's see. What's going on? What's going on here? Sorry guys, don't know if it's still streaming currently. Says YouTube is not receiving enough video. Maintain stream smoothing. Which I assume is a... I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, people. Is this working for anybody? Is it back up? Does it work? Let me know if it works. My stream health is currently green. So, in their childlike way, YouTube is telling me this is working better than it was. Whether or not that's true, I cannot confirm. I'm definitely getting a weird refresh thing going on. Oh, let's close that page. I'll just rely on you guys to let me know if the stream is working or not. Let's try it. Let's try it. Here's the video. We're back in the video. Start setting off alarms if you can't see what I'm doing. So, last time I left off, we had named the drinks, and we were moving into adding the music. Adding the music for the countdown. So I have this music set up. It really builds up. Ba-doo. If you can hear me currently, then you should be able to see what's going on my screen. If not, refresh. Maybe that'll work. Maybe.
Meister.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
3, 2, 1, go! Fucking tough.
Oh!
Fuck! Good job, Nuff!
Uh-huh.
Nailed it, son!
You got a little something on your lips there, Trav.
Oh, fuck!
I can still taste the Jaeger.
You know what? I can't taste the mayonnaise at all. It was just the texture it added that made that a problem.
That's good, though, because the last time I just had the fucking tang of that goddamn
Yeah?
mayonnaise.
It just tasted like a kind of creamy Jaeger, which is not a bad thing.
Says who?
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Just now.
You're fucked up, son.
I didn't think that it wasn't too bad flavor-wise, but oh god, the little lumps that hit your tongue as you're chugging that? No, that's not fun. Well, Nuff? Well done, sir. You are the master of this round of Drink of Destiny. Like most rounds Nuff takes part in. I mean,
Yeah.
he's usually the winner when he's not even taking part in Drink of Destiny.
Yeah, that's
You
kinda
know
true.
that if you watch our Big Con videos.
There's not really a good opportunity to do that, Cricket, since fucking Wero's dumb and spoke over everybody else.
Shit! Alright, go check out Main Event Pong in the description down below. These guys do amazing stuff. Great Pong videos. Crazy hot videos. Good stuff.
Thank you.
This has been Drink of Destiny. Please like, share, subscribe. You can also check out Loafy on Twitch if you want to.
Yeah, if you got some spare
You
time.
can dangle some bits at him, you know.
Yeah, dangle your bits
You know
in my
how it
face.
goes.
Give me those dirty
And while you're out
bits.
there visiting other shit, go ahead and look at our social deets down below. So you can catch up on Cult Moo and all our shenanigans. Thanks for watching.
Oh, thanks, Dave. David. Appreciate it. Let's see. That felt pretty good. We will take one more look at the thing that Cricket mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Maybe I can edit right here.
Lips there.
Oh, fuck!
I can still taste.
Good job, Nuff!
Uh-huh.
Oh, fuck!
I can still taste the Jaeger.
Mm.
You know what?
Yeah,
I can't
it's
taste
fine.
the mayonnaise at all. It was just the texture it added that made that a problem.
That's good though, because the last time I just had the fucking tang of that goddamn
Yeah?
mayonnaise.
It just tasted like a kind of creamy Jaeger, which is not a bad thing.
Says who?
Yeah.
Alright, so we got our whole video edit here. And then, if you saw this first time, you'll know this sequence. We nest it. We unlink it. You trim off the end card part. Take that out of there, and you actually put it inside the end card. And then now, there's the video inside of there. We're going to go ahead and add our final cross dissolve to the end of that so it fades out. Boom. And then we add our audio post effects to try to minimize noise in the background and limit the peaks so it doesn't get too crazy. And there you go. That is one drink of destiny down. Then we'll go ahead and export that. And then while that's exporting, you guys, let's have a little chat, I guess. Why don't you got some Q&A stuff going on out there? Give me some Q's and A's and I'll answer them while this stuff is going. Hopefully you caught enough of the stream here to understand what I was trying to do. And yeah, as our cricket is actually the 4th of June that this is going up, not the 14th. So you'll see it a little bit sooner than you thought. Oh, gonna be at a VidCon, eh, Biff? Yep, that's coming up soon here, just a couple months. Just a couple months we'll all be out at VidCon doing the normal thing. Got lots of videos to do. I'm excited because this year we're not going to be filming in our hotel room. So we'll be able to ruinate somebody else's hotel room, which will be nice. Let me know if you guys actually like watching some editing going on. Because I think it's, you know, it's a fun experience to show you a little bit behind the scenes. If you enjoy that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, it's going to be my birthday week too, Biff. That's only because you won. Nuff. How do you beat me in my own game? Now you get to see the exciting render time of Adobe Premiere. Look at it go. While that's going, I'm going to go ahead and see if there might be one more video that we can edit. And after this one. Aw, thanks, Exploding Marshmallow. Any other convention/tournaments you guys plan on going to? Not currently. VidCon is really the only convention that we target right now because that's where all the video people that we hang out with go to. If there was some other sort of convention, I don't really know about it. I mean, there's like more like nerd conventions, comic book conventions, that kind of stuff, or like a PAX sort of deal, but like that's just not really, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it would be with. It doesn't seem like it would work out with our audience, if that makes any sense. Plus, like, we don't know anybody that goes to those, so we would just be at a convention kind of doing nothing. So if there ever is another type of YouTube convention, especially if it's based around, you know, the type of content creators that we are, or the people that we hang out with are, that'd be super cool. But that kind of thing just doesn't exist. We're a pretty niche market here. Let's see, what would be another good video to work on? Well, I got a really long video I can work on that's coming out next month. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that to start editing that video, because it's probably gonna take longer than I even have to stream today. So let's go for it. It's gonna be a boring video for you guys. It's none of this stuff, but maybe you'll be interested in it. Yeah, it kind of was CraveCon, but yeah, not enough people went, so unsustainable. Happy 3-week early birthday, Kenny. Just gonna go in here and fix up my schedule so I got everything marked down. This was a drink of destiny. Edited. Loafy versus Snuff. When did that one go up? I think that one's already up. No, maybe it's not. Oh man. There is 3 other Drink of Destiny videos coming out before the one I just edited. So lots of Drink of Destiny coming up, guys. I'm just over here trying to like get super far ahead while I have a lot of time on my hands. Pretty much edited until close to June. Haven't figured out what we're going to deep fry in May. If you guys have any suggestions, let us know. Deep fried what? Cold Kitchens, I do believe we have a couple, or what was the last one that came out? The last one was a rib sandwich, wasn't it? That one posted, right? If it was that one, then we have one other Cult Kitchen filmed. It will be a vintage chef. And we got plenty of other internet chef and vintage chef ideas, but I'm not sure what will happen after that one. We don't have anything planned exactly. Katsu joint. You talking about one around here? Katsu burger, maybe? Oh, banana and ham is always interesting. That actually sort of inspired the next vintage chef we're doing. Or at least the topic of banana. Almost there. So exciting. So exciting. I have been to Katsu Burger actually. It's okay. Like it sounds better on paper than it actually ends up, because what they're doing is adding breading to a hamburger, which, if you think about it, isn't necessarily the best thing. Like, just imagine adding an extra bun to a hamburger that otherwise was a normal hamburger. That's really all you're doing. Okay, so this video is in the can. Next up, we're going to go with, let's see, did I save that somewhere? Underscore, yes. Here we go. Ooh. Cheese puff treats. That could be interesting. Never thought I wanted cheesy marshmallows, but maybe I do. Oh, sorry, enough. Jalapeno poppers are already deep fried. Most of the time. Alright, so here's what we're working on right now. Cold brew. This is a logo in progress. And we have roughly an hour and nearly an hour and a half of video to work with here. And if you're here for my first editing class, you'll know my rule of thumb is that for every minute of video of raw footage you have, it takes roughly 3 minutes of editing time. So we're looking at somewhere around 5 hours to edit this entire thing. Thus, I'm not going to finish editing this while we're working on it right now. But I got to do this one's. I want to put this video out in May, so I figure we might as well start on it. This is cold brew. This is the very first, or this is the second homebrew beer I did. This was a kit sent to us by NJ Stout. And I wanted to film this one because basically it was a fan package to do it. And also just to sort of film the process of, you know, home brewing, which I think is really interesting and it's a lot of fun to do. So hopefully people are interested in seeing how that turns out. We're going to go ahead and start editing.
Welcome to Cold Brew.
The music I'm doing this with, I just took the Drunkard Games music. I think that's fine.
Welcome to Cold brew. So today we got a little bit of a special video for you guys. I've been talking about it for a while now. I've started homebrewing. That's where you brew beer in your home. If you didn't know.
I couldn't put it together myself.
I know.
I got so confused when you said those
It's a good thing I'm
words.
here to help you, mansplain to you, because you don't get anything. Alright, so today what we're going to be making is a stout that was sent to us. Today what we're going to be making beer in your home. What we're going to be making is a
I don't like using two cuts immediately after each other that start with the same word. That's kind of bad. But it's all we got.
Today what we're going to be making is a stout that was sent to us by NJ Stout. It was sent in a box that comes with all the ingredients that you need to make it, so this will be a super easy recipe to do. You know, once you've brewed a couple times, you learn it's all basically the same when you do names, you know? So, it's stout, has some hops, has some grains. You boil them up in a big old kettle over here, and then you ferment it for a while. So, this is the first part. Number one, first video. I don't know how I'll do this. I might string all these videos into one.
That's what I'm going to do.
Might like put them out separately. We'll figure it out later. What does the cheese guy do? He always separates them, right? Figure it out later.
Random title. We don't need a title.
Hi. Goodness.
Don't know what your name is.
Boil a bunch of first.
I might come in here after the fact and start like adding titles, sort of like how Will It Sausage and stuff does. But for the time being, I'm just going to use standard cuts. Yeah, bring money. That's probably a good idea. Anytime you move anywhere. Umbrellas, sure, but you're better off getting a really nice raincoat. If you see somebody walking around with an umbrella blowing around in the wind around here, that's how you know they ain't from around here.
First step is we gotta boil a bunch of fucking water. Okay. Let's get this going. Here.
Sticks, put your hair up in a bun.
From doing this is you can either use... Alright, and what I've learned from doing this is you can either use, you know, just plain tap water and boil it, because you want to boil any sort of, you know, microorganisms that happen to be hanging out there.
Microorgasms.
Microorgasms. The
Windproof umbrellas never work. Not when it's actually windy.
The tip is always, like, if the water tastes good, your beer should be fine. But if it's tap water, you gotta boil it. Instead, what I do is I just go get distilled water, which is the same fucking thing. It's got all the things and any sort of living organisms have been bleached and radiated and whatever else out of here.
Jesus.
Just H2O. So we're gonna need 2.5 gallons of our water.
Ooh, that's liquidy.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fred Meyer. Unfortunately, Fred Meyer didn't have the big old tubs of water that come in 2.5 gallon sizes. Those are perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect for brewing.
Yeah. What about those?
You need 2.5 gallons exactly. So there's A gallon.
Hook up your stock, Fred and Meyer. Look at all this.
Outside of that, Matt, I don't really have a ton of tips. I mean, if you're moving out here, obviously, I'm sure you've done a little bit of research. Just be prepared. I don't know where you're moving from, but if you're moving from anywhere, you know, south of Oregon, it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be wet most of the time.
Extra work.
Okay. Fucking assholes. Now, you don't need quite such a large brew. Now, you don't need quite such a large brewing vessel, but I found that, like, it's nice. It's really nice to have one if you decide to do it more than a few times.
Is it nice having the spigot right at crotch level? Like, what could happen?
It's the best.
You say accident, I say pleasant mistake.
Yeah, you can just get right up in there. Add your own special sauce. All right, 2.5, so I don't want about half of this. I'll just eyeball it. And that's the thing about brewing. You don't got to be too exact.
Yeah.
You just want to, you know, sanitize and clean. Yeah, I guess that's actually step one here, is to clean all your shit. You just want to... That's the thing about brewing, you don't got to be too exact.
Yeah.
You just want to, you know, sanitize and clean. Yeah, I guess that's actually step one here, is to clean all your shit.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've already done. That's about half.
Yes. Use sterile urine.
Half-ish. It's okay. I'm just going to... Yeah, that'll be good. That way the thermometer's sticking in there nice. And then we bring this up all the way to 170 degrees. Temperature is very important to brewing. You didn't know that. Now you do.
Yeah. Get yourself one of them there thermometers.
One of them there thermometers. The reason that's important is because when you brew the beer, you're going to add some grains to it, some crushed grains to help give it the flavor of the beer you're making. Some grains to it, some crushed grains to help give it the flavor of the beer you're making. This particular pack came with these Maillard malts.
What?
Maillard.
Maillard. This is what gives it the stoutiness, right? Because see how all roasty and brown those are? These grains have been super roasted to give them nice dark color, as well as that, you know, deep coffee and bitter flavor.
Is that a sock?
This is, it's kind of like a sock. So what you do when you do this is you put your grains into a sock.
No, it is a sock.
It's a satchel.
It's his cock sock.
And that way you're not getting a bunch of extra grains, you know, hanging out in your beer. Because the more particulate you have in your wort, the cloudier your beer's going to get. That's one reason I think people do a lot of the double fermentation, is to get rid of a lot of the cloudiness. But I don't really care.
Yeah, I can't remember too many cloudy beers that I dislike.
Do you like the, funnel? Okay.
That's how you do it. Oh, I forgot. It's very, it's crushed, right? So there's a lot of dust in here too. So that's going to pour right out of your bag. So just pour it like over somewhere where that doesn't matter so much.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to do this over your beer again, because all that particulate is going to get inside your wort.
Lust the dust. Lust the dust.
Brewing's a very messy business.
That, so that your sock can float around freely, but not, you know, spill in there. And we're going to put this in there right ahead. We're going to put this, and we're going to, and we're going to, and we're going to put this in there right ahead, right now.
And tie off that sock so no one discovers it in the laundry.
Yeah. So that, what that's going to do is it's going to steep in there for, they always say about 20 minutes.
or until 170 degrees. So here is what you need to know about what's behind the scenes about that. When the malts here get above 170 degrees, that's going to introduce tannins into your wort. Tannins are what give it sour flavor, much like wine or tea or anything else. When it's overbrewed, you're going to get tannins. It's going to be sour. We don't want that. So make sure you don't go above 170. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time.
Rules to live by.
Okay? So we let that sit there and steep. We're going to keep a very close eye. So we let that sit there and steep. We're going to keep a very close eye on our thermometer. Wait till it gets to 170.
Boom.
Before that,
I feel like there's going to be a lot of
because this thermometer doesn't go all the way into the water. That might not be the strongest stout. Now that is a different type of sour. Sour beer and bacteria sour are two different. Get that right out of there. Might not be the strongest stout, but it won't be fucking sour. Now that is a different type of sour versus like a sour beer where bacteria is introduced. Tannins sour and bacteria sour are two different things, and you will know the difference because one just kind of tastes almost like lemon, the other one tastes like vinegar. Vinegar is bacteria. That's bad.
This is true. Watch out for sour beers. Unless they're supposed to be sour, then they're delicious.
But like you can steep a little bit longer, and most of the beer making is waiting. Actually, it's not super difficult. You're just pouring a bunch of shit into some water, making a soup out of grains, basically.
Sounds so delicious.
Yeah, the rest of the time you're just sitting here, you know, playing with yourself, just kind of waiting for that to go. You can do just like a little happy dance.
Yeah.
Them gloves like Parson has.
Seriously.
Everything that I'm using here has been washed. That's something else I should bring up. Well, this is.
Well, that's gonna be my brewery.
That's okay. Glove. Just remember to sanitize. Oh. That's.
So I really should have started this video with going over the cleaning and sanitizing process, but we get to it eventually.
That's bad. That's something else I should bring up while this is going. So everything that I'm using here has been washed, 2 sanitized. That's not sterilized. Sanitized. Sanitized is kind of like halfway sterilization. It's like half-hearted sterilizing something. Basically, you get all the particulate off of anything you're using by washing it, and then you use a sanitizer that gets rid of all the surface level bacteria and stuff. What I use is Star Sand.
Oh.
Star Sand. I make a big old bucket of it that's right here. And then you got a bucket you can just dip all your shit into and get it all sanitized. Nice. And this is food grade sanitizer. You don't want to, I mean, you can use stuff that's not, but then you got to rinse it off afterwards, and you got to rinse it off with sanitized water. So you'd have to get more distilled water or whatever. Instead, I just get this kind of shit where you can let it dry off, air dry. You don't want to wipe it. Don't use like a towel or anything. Don't wipe it down. Just let it air dry. And then it's completely safe to use as a vessel for eating and drinking out of. Star Sand.
Star Sand.
Star Sand.
Star Sand. Okay, so you can see the steam is rolling.
We're not to a boil yet. That's very important. That means you've gone above 170. And then at this point, we're going to take out our grain sock. Okay, so you can see the steam.
So I'm separating these sections with these flash cuts I like to use, just to show that the topic or whatever has changed. You can think of flash cuts as like paragraphs.
You can see the steam is rolling. We're not to a boil yet. That's very important. That means you've gone above 170. And then at this point, we're going to take out our grain sock. Let it drain so you get all that nice flavor out. Now, there's a huge contention in the world of, you know, brewing here that there's one camp that's on the side of don't squeeze the sock. There's another camp that says it doesn't really matter, go ahead and squeeze it. I fall somewhere in the middle where it's like you can kind of play with your sock.
Remember to cup the sock.
Cup the sock, just to, you know, because if you squeeze it too much, then you're going to get more tannins. But I like to at least get, you know, whatever little bit extra flavor out of there I can. Because that's all your good flavors in there. Flavor out of there I can.
Let it wick.
Yeah, so I like to let it, you know. Back, I mean, if you got some other sort of doom
Yeah.
of Christmas pack, we got all that. Let's get them away. All right. Now we got all that flavor added to what's
No tannins. Don't want tannins.
going to become our wort. Now we just keep letting it rise in temperature. We don't have the grains in there that are going to release tannins anymore. No tannins. And then this is going to get to a boil. You want to bring this to a boil because the next thing you add are all your sugars.
Skip to boil.
Yay.
That's why
Alcohol rise.
get to it.
Takes a while for 2.5 gallons of liquid to get to a boil.
On this, at this part, this is you're making the wort.
Yeah. So if you didn't wipe properly, yeah, you don't even have to worry about it right now. It's all part of the flavor.
Don't worry about it. Don't feel it.
Cheap boil.
We have a cheap boil. Now this seems counterintuitive, but
We have a cheap boil.
your sugars. We have a cheap boil. Now this no tannins. And then this is going to get to a boil. You want to bring this to a boil because the next thing you add are all your sugars. We have a cheap boil. Now this seems counterintuitive, but the first thing you want to do is take it off the heat. And we're doing this because we're adding our sugar. When you add your sugar, your extract, you definitely don't want to burn it. Because while it's fun, burnt sugar is probably one of the worst tastes ever.
Yeah.
As long as you can get
Totally true, Mark.
into it. There we go.
So do we need the
Robo twist.
What kind of sugar is this?
This is mallard malts. It's
Oh.
more malt sugars, malt extract.
Okay. Is it a syrup?
Yes, comes out as a cider. Malt sugars, malt extract. Sploosh, 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 sploosh. Oh,
that is
yeah.
thick. Thick and syrup.
Get them malts in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yeah, it's a lot of syrup, but that's what gives it all the good stoutiness.
Uh-huh.
Just to get out of there.
Getting a little bit in
Yeah,
there.
slosh it.
Slosh it around.
Set on that action.
Oop. I've made a mess.
I'm too excited.
I got way too excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. Okay, that's sugar number one. That's
This stout stuff took a lot of sugars.
That's number one. Can you believe it? There's more sugar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What kind of sugar is this?
This is more. Oh no. This is traditional dried malt extract. Basically, it's just an extract from another type of malt, another type of grain, and it gives you more flavor.
Yeah, flavor.
Now, was there anything to adding them?
You did not need to sterilize the outside of that bottle because it was going into the wort, which is going to be boiled. So, don't need to do that.
At different times, like, is that...
No, with your sugars, you're adding them after you reach your first boil,
Okay.
and then you're stirring them in and getting them all the way dissolved before you return to heat.
Okay.
Which is going to be rough because this is all powder.
Is that...
No. With your sugars, you're adding them after you reach your first boil,
Okay.
and then you're stirring them in and getting them all the way dissolved before you return to heat.
Okay.
Which is going to be rough because this is all powdered.
Mm.
The idea is you don't want any, little
You get the immersion blender.
scraggly bits getting all burnt. But it'll do it, you just...
Rule is anything going into the wort before you cook it, you don't need to worry about. Once the wort is done, everything that gets near it from that point on needs to be sanitized.
Gotta stir it.
So, Pink.
Yes.
Brewing beer versus buying it. What is cheaper?
Yes.
Brewing beer versus buying it. What is cheaper?
It really depends on the scale you're working at. When you work in the scale I work at, which is the 5 gallons, you can definitely save a bit of money after the initial investment of the brewing pot and all your equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can get everything to brew 5 gallons of beer for like $35.
The ingredients.
Yeah, you can get all the ingredients you need.
Mm.
35, 40 bucks maybe. And that's 5 gallons of beer.
Yeah. So normally you get like what, like a little over a half gallon in a 6-pack.
What you're really doing is you're getting the...
Ooh, let's do some math here to help out our audience. Ooh, there's our table. There are roughly 53 beers. 53 12-ounce beers you get out of 5 gallons. We'll go ahead and add some titles to this so we can put that information in there.
All your
brewing beer versus buying it. What is cheaper?
It really depends on the scale you're working at. When you work in the scale I work at, which is the 5 gallons,
we want different. Let's find a good font. Alpha Echo. Well, Alpha Echo doesn't have an equals either. Let's just find a font that works then. That's a fat font, sure. That's the wrong one. $53 12-ounce beers. And then the math. Let's go on the high end here. What did I say?
You can definitely save a bit of money after the initial investment of the brewing pot and all your equipment. Because you can get everything to brew 5 gallons of beer for like $35.
The ingredients.
Yeah, you can get all the ingredients you need. 35, $40 maybe.
Let's go with $40. So that would be we're gonna say that's about 75 cents a beer. Where's the cent sign? Does this font have a cent sign? Oh my god, it does.
You can definitely save
The ingredients.
Yeah, you can get all the ingredients you need. 35, $40 maybe. And that's 5 gallons of beer.
Yeah. So normally you get like what, like a little over a half gallon in a 6-pack. Gallon in a 6-pack.
$5 maybe. And that's 5 gallons of beer.
Yeah. So normally you get like what, like?
And that's, you know, just for the recipes I've found. I'm sure you could find definitely cheaper ingredients if you really want to, or some ingredients will be a little bit more expensive, especially on the depending on the style you're making. This beer for me was even cheaper because I got sent all the ingredients. I just had to buy some water. Okay. Man, YouTube is having a shitty time today. I think it's because it's raining. Anyways, we are discussing the hot break, if you happen to miss it.
You're going to escaping. It'll happen, and you just got to be careful. Take it off the heat. If that happens, you'll notice. You'll be able to see things happening, and it'll start to look weird. All the foam will create like sort of a solid mass on there, and to get around that, you just kind of, you know, you keep stirring. This isn't like, it's not like making gravy. You don't need to stir constantly. But, you know, get in there, break up the proteins, keep stirring, and eventually, like right before you hit that rolling boil, the hot break will happen. I got this big ass pot here, just as part of that. It really helps.
Yep, it's definitely Werrow's fault.
Hot break not effective, because I did do it in my small pot once, and that was close. Very, very close.
You're teasing this hot break. Is it going to happen, or is that like what we're avoiding?
It's what we're avoiding, basically.
God damn it! I want to see it now. Shit.
Okay. Basically, Loafy, imagine you.
I don't want to use my magic.
Okay, we don't need any of this. We can just kind of skip ahead to somewhere close to the hot break. And man, we're not even to the point where we're actually making the wort really yet, and we're already at 12 minutes of video. So this is going to be a long ass video.
I just love this circumstantial help story.
Oh god, it's gonna happen soon.
Oh god.
I can almost see the finish line. That breaks into a boil, that's the hot break.
Oh. What was that?
Oh! 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 Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Now it's happening.
There it is.
And then you see with the big ass pot, you don't have to worry about the explosive hot break. It's just a nice, calming, relaxing experience. It's like using lube.
What? What?
Heyo.
That second time, maybe I don't want to drink this beer.
I'm just saying, you know, friction is the enemy.
Problem.
We're gonna start with the cliff.
Well, some friction. That's the problem. It's friend and foe.
Alright, so we're boiling. We're actively boiling. We've hit our hot break, and at this point, this is when ingredients go inside of there.
Yeah.
On your burner and turn the heat back up, bring it back to a boil. This is probably the
A little over a half gallon.
I think I forgot to add a good cut or a good dissolve in here. Throw that in there.
We're boiling. We're actively boiling. We've hit our hot break, And at this point, this is when ingredients go inside.
Sours are good enough. Sours are delicious.
So we're going to start off with... Where is it?
Gotta read my recipe.
Bigger font on the recipe. That's what we start with today.
Yeah. We're going to start with the cluster hops. This goes in for an hour.
You cluster hops, yeah.
Now, there's different schools of thought here. You can put this in a sock, so it doesn't add to the particulate in the beer, but I don't really care. Just leave the last little bit, you know? It all sinks to the bottom. So, here we go.
Since here, I've tended to add the hops into a sock, just because it's easier to clean up.
Whee! Happy trails. And this is where you get all the flavors. The flavor out of your beer is the ingredients added here. This is where you add the hops. If you had any special extracts or bonus material you would add to your beer, you do it during this 60-minute boil.
This is where you put in the source.
This is where you put in the source.
Don't put source in your beer.
During the 60 minutes, yes, but it was at the very end of the 60 minutes.
This is where you put in the source.
Material you would add to your beer, you do it during this 60-minute boil.
This is where you put in the source.
This is where you put in the source. Sort of all beer recipes. And this is where sort of all beer recipes. And this is where sort of all beer recipes turn into one, is that it's always, you boil it for an hour. I don't know why. I don't know if there's something else that happens, if you can make a special beer by boiling it for longer, but every recipe I've seen, you boil it for an hour.
You're talking like your different, like amber ales.
Yeah, amber ales, dark stouts, pale ales, whatever it is, boil it for an hour. That's when you give the hop. So we have two varieties of hops, and the times you put these in gives it different hop character. That's when you give the hop. So we have two varieties of hops, and the times you put these in.
Scottish bakery. Don't think so. At least I'm not too familiar with one. Plenty of Asian bakeries around here, though.
Gives it different hop characteristics. So since we added the cluster at the beginning, that's going to give it the undertone of the hop. That's what's going to give it all the bitterness in the flavor. This Cascade hop, which is more of an aromatic hop, is going in 20 minutes before the end of the boil. And that's going to give it, like at the tip of your tongue, sort of a bright flavor, but it's also going to add much more to the aromatics. The smell.
Mm.
Tickle your nose.
It's going to tickle. So, we're just going to let this sit.
Hit. Yeah, get it in there.
Alright. It's been 40 minutes, and now we're on to hop number 2, the cat. It's been 40 minutes, and now we're on to hop number 2.
Oh, I've seen blood pudding at different restaurants, but you can't, like, yeah, it's hard to find just
The Cascade.
a blood pudding by itself. I think there's a couple of places. I actually really enjoy blood pudding.
And this just, it goes right in there like that. Woo. Get in there. Get in there. I'll fill you a little pellet. There we go. And like I said, this is what gives. I just mix in there 20 more minutes. So close, so close.
You can see the finish line.
All right, we're almost done. We're almost done, We got like 10 seconds left. This is gonna beep, and then our wort will be complete.
Your wort is complete.
Beep. All right, so immediately take it off the heat. Fuck you, heat.
What'd the heat ever do to you?
Here is the here's the process. That wort is done. The wort needs to become beer now. In order to do that, it needs to ferment. To ferment, it has to be the right temperature. To get to the right temperature, and you want to get to the right temperature as quick as possible, because at this point, the beer is very prone to having bad things happen. Like drips.
Oh god, no!
And you want to get to the right temperature as quick as possible, because at this point, the beer is very prone.
Yeah, probably.
To having bad things happen.
So there's just chemical reactions going inside of the beer right here, or at this point of the wort, that add, you know, off flavors, and then all you're doing is trying to reduce the temperature.
Different ways. I don't have an advantage.
Cool, or as quick as possible.
So to cool it. To cool it down, there's a ton of different ways. I don't have an advanced way to cool it down. What I do is I take a pot like this, and I fill it with ice. Just give it an ice bath.
Yay!
And I want to do that without touching anything to this. It's already sanitized. I don't want to unsanitize it by touching weird things.
Yeah!
See how it floats?
Go to your home.
It floats ever so freely. And then it's kind of okay at this point because it is so hot still. It's still at the boiling temperature. But try to be careful. You know?
Try not to get ice in your...
Be as careful as you can be.
It helps if you open the bag all the way.
The opposite of a double boiler.
Yeah. It's a negative boiler.
Yay!
It's an anti-broiler. Like an anti-griddle. Then, whoop, watch out. Alright. Re-sanitize. Like an anti-griddle. Then, whoop, watch out. Alright. Prone. Like any sort of action, you know, like any, and then, you know, you just cool it the fuck down. Watch it.
I think we can find more blood pudding like in delis. I think there's some European delis, maybe.
You know, and then, like any sort of action to cool down a liquid like this, it's a lot like making it. You know, and then, like any sort of action to cool down a liquid like this, it's a lot like making ice cream, except backwards, right? You want it to move. You want liquid to contact as much as that cold surface as possible. So, get friendly with it. And at this point, it's okay. It's okay because air isn't going to affect the flavor. Movement isn't going to affect the flavor. You're fine. You're fine. You're just really trying to cool down this shit as quick as possible. Because the longer it's just out doing nothing, the more bad actors can enter that.
Yeah.
And then here's another thing that I like to do. that I don't really read people do, but I like to do it because you're gonna put this in the fermenter, in the carboy, or whatever fermenter you have, and you're gonna add the extra water. So why not at this point dilute the wort to cool it down quicker?
There's got to be a reason for it. Somebody will let us know.
I did it last time and it worked fine, so that's what I'm doing. Just make sure, you know, you don't fill your rice bucket. But this will, you know, it adds. It just helps cool it down quicker. But this will, you know, it adds. I did it last time and it worked fine, so that's what I'm doing. Just make sure, you know, you don't fill your rice bucket. But it helps cool it down quicker, honestly.
What up, Tart and Ferret?
So this is the whole process. Add
Just
some more.
editing video over here. Kind of enough. That's kind of generally how it works, is that the more sugar you have in your wort from the get-go, the higher ABV it's going to get, because the yeast has more sugars to eat, and thus will spit out more alcohol. The only tricks with that are certain sugars are metabolized slightly differently by the yeast, and the types of yeast you use can only deal with certain like percentages of sugar in the whole volume of the wort. Like typical ale, you know, yeasts aren't gonna spit out 15% beer or something. It's really all about what yeast you're using, what sugars you're using, and how much of each you have. So you can't just add sugar equal higher alcohol. It all has to be within certain volumes.
More. These have been sanitized, like, you know, everything else. Heat pads, yeah.
God, I can hear things.
Yeah, right? So the key is to cool down. Okay.
Oh my God, I can hear things.
Yeah, right? So the key is to cool down the wort to under 100 degrees. That's what you want to get to. That's the target, as quick as possible. After that, you want to get it to about 70 degrees, 60 to 70, for the yeast to work. So I just do it all in one fell swoop. Just cool it down. Cool it down, cool it down. And you can see how quick that ice melts.
What temperature you're at right now?
We are at about 125.
Yay.
I probably
Just more boring cooling it down. Don't need all that.
Ooh.
And then is a pot of wool drips. And then you got your big old pot of wort. And what?
Not always in syrup form. Like even this beer, we use some dried malt extract. Typically, beer we'll use malt extracts of the various types, and that's just really cooked down grains, or yeah, roasted grains. The same stuff I put at the beginning of the beer, where I steeped it in there. It's just that same stuff, except you know, really extract all the sugars out of it. I know certain recipes of beer you can use corn sugar during that process to amp up the sugars in there. I did that with my saison that I made because you don't want to add a ton of grain flavor, which gives you, you know, a more ale-y flavor all the time. Sometimes you just want the sugar to get that, you know, alcohol happening. But theoretically, you can use pretty much any type of sugar. It's all just going to affect the flavor in different ways.
What do you do with your wort? You stick it in its home.
Go to your home.
Go to your home.
Too good for your home.
And its home is right here.
For these early batches of beer, I was using pretty much the only fermenter I had, which was a glass carboy. Typically, you want to use a glass carboy on the secondary fermentation for the clearing of your beer. But I mean, it works fine for the main fermentation too, or especially if you're only doing one fermentation. Nowadays though, I have a nice giant food grade plastic carboy, which is much easier to clean out when you're doing this. So I'm starting to use that when I do my main fermentation now.
So I got a little stool here so I can casually pour my wort that has been cooled into.
Would you like a phone book or two to put underneath that?
Hey, shut up. And there you go. It's that easy.
Ooh.
Now you may be wondering, man, that's like stirring it up a lot. That's doing weird shit. Is that bad? No, actually it's good. At this point of the wort, you want to mix in as much oxygen as possible. Why do you do that? You do that for the yeast. It needs a gaseous environment in which to ferment. Now it's much different 2 weeks from now after it's fermented. You don't want to introduce any air at all. Or as little as possible, so.
What happens then?
Bad flavors.
Oh.
That's where you get natural floaty yeasts in there and they start doing bad stuff.
It?
I'm assuming anyway.
Yeah, Kenny, you totally could do that. The only bad thing about that for us is that my giant kettle doesn't actually fit in the sink, so I can't fill the sink with water. So I just do it sort of the opposite way with the smaller kettle inside of the big kettle.
Right.
Sure.
Particulates.
Is that when it's got to drink some cranberry juice to get, you know, its pH balance right again?
So we're just gonna let this go all the way down.
We only started live streaming not too long ago, last week actually, and then today I started streaming. I don't know, started streaming this round 2 or something.
I just got like a little tiny hose here that I cut off, but like you probably want a longer hose, so it's a little bit easier. But it's okay.
So you still have like 7 feet of hose, bro.
This also helps it cool down because, you know, it aerates.
It?
I'm assuming anyway, right?
Now it's much different 2 weeks from now after it's fermented. You don't want bad flavors.
Oh.
That's where you get natural floaty yeasts in there and they start doing bad stuff.
It?
If your pee is that, though.
I've been making beer for not all that long. This beer video here was my second batch of beer I made. And since then, I've made a couple more batches. And currently I'm working on a cider. Which is in its secondary fermentation step.
Dude, there's been some weekends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We want a little bit.
still does the same thing.
Yeah, there's too much light refracting off the cardboard.
Okay, well, before we get all of this beer in there.
Oh, nice. How'd your beer go?
We want a little bit to taste.
Really? What's it gonna taste like right now?
It's gonna taste a lot like a beer, without the alcohol, and flat.
So why are we drinking it?
You know, you want to get a preview of what you got going on, so you know that you did it right.
Yeah, you might just want to abort it right now.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting like months and then finding out that you fucked up.
Super dark.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Nice and sweet. Very roasty. Doesn't taste, well, just a little bit hoppy. A little bit hoppy. Yeah, this is going to make a good beer, I think.
Hey.
And not a lot of tannins going on, which I'm very happy about.
So this beer actually turned out pretty damn well, especially for a kit beer. What's weird is that the initial taste here tasted closer to what the final flavor was after it was carbonated, but like the flavor after it was fermenting just for the 2 weeks was kind of weird. Like I was a little bit scared after 2 weeks. I didn't think it would be great. This will be uploaded, let's take a look. And the target date for this is May 18th, so quite a ways away. But that's how we do. We get shit done ahead of time. Any special flavor for the cider? No special flavor. We found some just kind of a generic apple cider mix at the store. Organic, no preservatives, pasteurized. So if you're making cider and you don't have access to a cider press or a cidery somewhere where you can get fresh apple juice, fresh squeezed apple juice, you gotta go to a store and just get some. So that was, I believe that one's like a mix of a bunch of different apples, like Honeycrisp and Golden Delicious and stuff. So it has a kind of a sweet and sour, plain sort of apple juicy flavor, which is fine. Then I mixed in about a gallon of my own juice that I made here of Pink Lady apples, which have amazing flavor. Very, they're a little bit perfumey, a little bit sour, you know. So they got just kind of a great overall apple flavor. And then I used a gallon of that along with 4 gallons of the normal stuff you buy at the store. And I only used a gallon because it took like literally like 3 hours to juice all those apples. So juicing apples is not an easy task, especially when you need to do it at that scale. Making a gallon of apple juice out of raw apples, not super easy. So it's just those 2 flavors primarily. I also used about a pound of honey in there to add a little bit of flavor from the honey, but also it's just a sugar additive because what I read was that apples by themselves might not tend to have all the sugars you want to hit the ABV you want out of your cider. So I used a low-end amount of honey out of recipes I read, although when I tasted it after its first main fermentation, it kind of tasted high ABV, so I might have needed less honey. But hey, I'm not going to complain about, you know, an 8% cider, because I'll drink the hell out of that.
Sweetness. I get a lot of sweetness. So.
Espresso
Kind
coffee.
of burn. All that shit, which we just don't need. We don't want to live that kind of life.
Yeah, Kenny, that tends to be true. Like I try to get around 2 to 3 weeks for the main fermentation, and then 2 weeks for bottle conditioning. Is what roughly I do for ales, for whatever my ales are. The cider, I did the 2-week main fermentation. I'm gonna let it go for 5 weeks for the double fermentation clarification step, and then it'll also need an additional 2 weeks of bottle conditioning after that. I'm a little bit afraid it's not going to be as clear as I want it, just because I did use the store brand, which was really cloudy. So I might have a cloudy cider, but what are you going to do?
Oh,
That looks delicious.
so at this point, even though we aerate, not a lot of tannins going on, which I'm very happy about. At this point, even though we aerated it a whole bunch just the way we poured it, we still want to do more. Air is our friend. Air is our buddy.
This part scares me every time I watch this.
So,
Oh, gosh.
This is literally what you do. You shake it. You shake it. Get in there. Get in there, Air. Get in there. Now, they actually sell products to do this for you, which makes a lot of sense, because this is rough. This is hard work. Your yeast.
I killed.
Spent. Okay.
You're really gonna enjoy that beer when you have that slip disc.
Yeah.
Oh, it kills the pain so good.
Beer's aerated. Final step of the first step of brewing. Now you want to pitch in your yeast.
I'll pitch it in, baby.
Now they gave it a fancy name, or a weird name. What the fuck does pitching the yeast mean? Literally just means throw the fucking yeast in there. They're kind of assholes about it, but whatever.
Wasn't that what you do when you pitch a baseball?
Just dip the and then carry everything so clean, so sanitized.
So, what I do with this one and the one before it was I just threw the yeast right in there, which is fine. That usually works. It worked every time I did it, but I've gotten more careful nowadays where I get a starter yeast going, where you just, put it in some warm sanitized water, or boiled water, I should say, with a little bit of sugar, and then it starts going before you add it, and that's just like, peace of mind that your yeast is living, before you throw it in there and nothing happens.
And then carefully pitch in your yeast.
Oh, I can hear him eating it already.
Num 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 num.
Yeah, I don't remember which yeast I was using on this one. Whatever came with the pack. Simply Beer Stout.
The yeasties
Now,
are happy. Oh, it's so good and tasty beer.
So, the first beer you made, you...
Right? You also need a stopper. Sure. And this is going to go in here, and what this does is it allows the gases... You need this little guy.
Is that what it's called?
Sure. And this is going to go in here, and what this does is it allows the gases...
Yes, Kenny, I have heard of that. I actually have some, and I added it to the cider. But after its first main fermentation, it was still just as cloudy as kind of right after I put everything in there. Which I know there's a lot of extra yeast and stuff, but I don't know. I just have a general worry that it might not clear up after the 5 weeks.
From the fermentation to come out, but it doesn't let any air in.
Oh.
so you don't get any weird, wild bacterias or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you do need to put something in here to block it. It's kind of like a bong. That's why they call it a bung.
Yeah, it's a bung, baby. Get that bung hole. Come on.
Can you fetch me the brewing vodka?
Fetch me the bung juice.
It's in the... in here. Use some vodka to act as the block for air entering in.
You still have this shit, huh?
But fuck that, man. We're brewing here. Use some vodka. This shit's sanitary. It's just not good, but you're not drinking it. You're keeping the air out. Vodka. This shit's sanitary. It's just not good, but you're not drinking it. You're keeping the air out. So you fill it to your line. Whoop. You put your cap on top. There you go.
So that does what exactly?
This blocks air from entering the carboy, but it allows air to escape.
So I've learned from other brewer type people that you use vodka for this, because if any happens to seep back into your brew, it's sanitary. Whereas if you just use some water, it might not be sanitary, especially since it's sitting around up on top. Might suck in some bad stuff into your beer. And that's why we use vodka.
Oh, okay.
Amylase, huh?
I got you.
What is that?
Here you go.
It's like farting in a pool.
For one, and it will stay.
So the vodka?
Yes. You don't have.
And it got dry.
Cold brew.
Yay!
Welcome to the final installment. Installment 3 out of.
Yay!
Welcome to the.
Well, this editing has gone a lot quicker than I figured it would, because a lot of that video was just me, like, waiting for shit, so we might actually get this thing done today. That'd be good. Yeah, YouTube is just being shitty.
And our people.
Like they're Harry Potter. Welcome to the final installment. Installment 3 out of 3. However, we've only installed or filmed one other installment because I skipped over the second installment, which was bottling day. So, sorry about that, guys. Just didn't really have time to make that work. But I assure you, the beer was bottled as normal. What you do is you take your carboy and some tubing, and then get that beer, the wort, that's now fermented after all that time, and you put that in a bottling bucket along with some bottling sugar. I won't go into too much detail about that, but you can look it up. So our beer has been aging, bottle conditioning, they call it, for 3 weeks. And it is finally ready. The stout that NJ said.
Yay!
So we're going to go ahead, crack this open, and see how it turned out. Now, something that happened during bottling day is that, you know, you get a taste of it along the way, so you can tell where the flavors are developing and everything. And I tasted a little bit of tartness coming into the beer, which is unfortunate. I don't like stouts that much that are tart. But, hey, you know what? That's just what we got out of this batch, so whatever. We're still going to try it.
No, we should just throw it all away.
And that's not like bacteria. That's just the flavor of the beer.
Yay!
It's
So,
either like
woo!
from the yeast or the hops that causes that, right?
Oh, you scared the kitty.
Alright, definitely carbonated, as you can see.
Yeah.
And it's...
That's a decent color.
Oh, look at that. That looks like a stout as fuck.
That's definitely stouty.
So okay,
Ooh, super statty.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this was
bubbles?
a
bubbles.
company that you could buy a specific mixture.
This is
from,
a
right?
kit stout.
The hop bill? I'm not sure what that.
You buy the kit, you got all the ingredients you need. All you need is the hardware to do it. And like I said, sent to us by NJ Stout so long ago. Thank you, NJ Stout.
Jesus.
Maybe that's why it's tart too. It was sitting around for a while.
Yeah, I think he's probably forgot he even sent it to us by this point in time.
Ooh, smells really stouty. Not too bad. Let's get a little sip here. Oh, another thing I forgot to do during the actual brewing stage is I didn't check the gravity of the beer. That's another step you can do.
Oh, it used Cascade hops, and it used, oh god, I can't remember. There was another hop. Maybe I can come back here and find it. That's the second hop. Okay, first hop.
Start off with the cluster hop.
Cluster and Cascade is what he used. Cluster at 60 and Cascade for the last 20.
Not too bad. Let's get a little... You know what? That's just what we got out of this batch. Alright. Not too bad. Let's get a little sip here. Oh, another thing I forgot to do.
Fugels hop, huh? I'll have to write that down. Fugels for stouts, you say?
During the actual brewing stage is I didn't check the gravity of the beer. That's another step you can do. Yeah, I just plumb didn't do it. It's a lot of work
Cool. Thanks, Scott.
brewing beer. Okay, get off my back.
In the end, the flavor of this one actually didn't taste too much tartness in it.
Yeah. If I had to guess, it's probably somewhere around 5%, 6%.
He tastes it. It was like, oh god, this is 9. This is 9.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's set up really nice in the conditioning phase. I don't know what happened. It sweetened up a lot, actually. But not like oversweet, more like a milk chocolate sweet.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And a little bit nutty, too. Mmm.
Did you
Yeah.
accidentally brewed these nuts?
I accidentally brewed these nuts. That's actually really, really nice. It's really pleasant. That's actually really, really nice. It's really pleasant. It's got like a, I don't know, like a coffee and creamer sort of deal going on to it. Yeah, this is much less disappointing than I was expecting.
You saying that after the beers we just tried gives me a lot of hope, because those were really, really good darks.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're trying this one.
Oh, it's nice because it doesn't go for all like the burnt sort of flavor that a lot of stouts go for, and it has just the slightest hint of the tart I was talking about, but it's all evened out by like how heavily carbonated and how much extra sweetness and nuttiness was added in the conditioning phase. So I'm really actually surprised by how much better this got, because when I put it in the bottles, I was like, oh, I was writing that one off. This got, because when I put it in the bottles, I was like, oh, I was writing that one off.
Yay.
Full-bodied, definitely. I mean, you can tell.
That's building. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite as big of a head as what...
Ooh, got that might be higher than 5%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's got a nice smell. Ooh. Ooh.
Baked potato culture. Nice. Actually, the best beer I've made was a Earl Grey Amber Ale. So it had Earl Grey in the at the last at the end of the 60. You put a little bit in there to give it some of that flavor, some of the deep little bit of that bitterness, and then I also made an extract out of the Earl Grey and added that during the bottling stage, and man, that stuff was delicious. That's definitely a keeper.
Yeah, it does. Like, because I didn't taste it on the bottling phase. I tasted it like when it was first made. It like you can still kind of taste that base flavor, but it's changed a lot. And like that sourness, like I don't know what it was like when you tasted it, but like it's there. You can taste, but like it's needed. It very much accents the other flavors that you taste, which don't ask me what those flavors are right now because I couldn't tell you.
You drunk asshole.
News! This
Yeah,
just in. Beer, Simply Beer Stout. That's who made this. Check out Simply Beer.
Simply Beer
Simply
Stout.
Beer. Okay. Yeah, no, it's got just the.
Haven't been homebrewing too long, maybe half a year now. Close to a year, I guess. I've made about five different beers.
Just the right amount of like coffee flavor to it.
Yeah.
Like it's not. Like you said, kind of chocolatey. Like I'm not quite getting like the chocolate flavor to it, but it's got just enough of that like roasty essence to it that it's good. I like it. I was a little leery just off the like the stout aspect of it, like for our homebrew kit. It's like,
That sounds interesting.
what are they going to give us? And
Coconut tea.
That's pretty solid.
I agree. Very solid. And the flavor, like, the flavor for this changed way more than the flavor of the other two beers I made.
Like from point A to point C.
Yeah. Like the lavender, or not lavender, but the
Earl
Earl
Grey
Grey. I mean, it changed and it developed, but you could tell where it was going. Like this one, you could not foresee this being.
Yeah,
the
see,
result.
like I didn't taste any of the first one until the final product, and I want to say I tasted the wort or what have you before you bottled it with the Earl Grey. But like this one, yeah. So no, actually no, the Earl Grey was just the last. So yeah, this one definitely a change from first to last, but it's amazing how much you can still taste the original flavor. No, this is good. I like it. Like I really was not expecting that much out of a box. But fuck.
Here we go.
Asshole. Get it, Loafy. Get that stout.
Yeah, it gets drunk faster than it definitely.
Just skipping the smelling part. We already said what it smells like.
That much out of a box.
Where it wants to grow his beard, about where it's at.
Oh. Okay, that's pretty special. This is definitely like a coffee Hershey syrup sort of experience. It's very deep and rich. It's very deep and rich. I'm tasting it. I'm tasting chocolate. Perhaps I'm mad, but it's like a smoky, mapley chocolate. Perhaps I'm mad, but it's like tasting it. I'm tasting chocolate. Perhaps I'm mad, but it's like a smoky, mapley chocolate.
Yeah,
a lot of different flavors just coming together to make something really special. I don't think I've had anything like this. It's really the mapliness of it that intrigues me the most.
Shut up,
the oven agrees.
It does. Hey, we have consensus. Like kind of a maple rye. Maybe even a tiny bit of, what are those? What are those things called? The like big flat round wheat cakes.
Crisps.
What are those?
I don't know. Wheat cakes. Are you talking about like Gardettos?
No, no. Okay, when I was a kid, there was these big, like, flat bread crackers.
The hell it was made out of.
Right. It tastes a little bit like a lot of these other... Sorry I'm being so long-winded about it. This is one of the most... I'm being so long-winded about this, but... I think that this is one of the most... I think that this is one of the most original darks I've ever had. Even though it's, what, just supposed to be a generic stout?
Yeah, it's just a kit.
Kit stout.
Long pull of it. When we take a long pull of it, you get a lot of different flavors along with that too.
I can see where like if you were slightly experienced in your brewing, like
This
where
beer makes me happy.
you could use this as your base, and then you could experiment with it.
Yeah.
Really easy.
Yeah.
Like, it gives you a good solid flavored beer as a base, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
You're gonna need something dark and earthy to pair with this because it is like it's taking you on that subterranean journey.
Well, I mean,
You know, where the dwarves, they dug too greedily into the ground and they found the Balrog. This is the Balrog, baby. It's good. It's kicking my ass. It's great though. I think that the flavor of this one is it is head and shoulders above most stouts. Especially if you're a fan of Guinness, you'll realize that, like, while Guinness does have some dark flavors to it, it's just like really, you know, it's almost a watery beer. This has flavors to accompany all the way through the beer, and it's amazing. Definitely night and day. Try this stuff. It's incredible.
Yep. All the home brewers out there, highly recommend Simply Beer. Check them out. Thank you, NJ Stout, for sending this out to us. And hey,
so much.
I'm Herr Pink. If I can make beer, so can you. Try it out, man. You gotta get creative. That's what I'm all encouraging. Just get creative, make stuff.
Yeah.
Make cool stuff.
Make some of that original intellectual property beer.
Cook food. Try new foods. Try new drinks. Make your own. That's what's awesome about shit, man.
Yeah. Just blaze those trails for science.
Yeah.
And for your own palate, for goodness sakes.
Exactly. This has been Cold Brew, Episode 1. In the future, I don't know what I'll do with this. I'll probably film a few more of my more interesting recipes.
Yeah.
As we should say.
They've all been really interesting so far.
Maybe
every single one of them has been fucking revolutionary.
Cream corn beer. Maybe a cream corn beer for Loafy.
I got that corn down in my heart.
We'll see. Alright, so thanks for watching, you guys. Go check out our social deets.
Cream corn pilsner.
Cold Brew.
Yeah! See you next time!
Alright, yeah. There's our edit. Roughly just over half an hour. I mean, Somebody might want to watch a half an hour long video. You never know. We're gonna save it as is. We still got to do some like title work. Maybe I'll put in like making the beer. You know how it has like first spin, second spin, third spin. It might be like the wort, the bottling, the tasting, something like that. I can add that. I need to edit the title card a little bit more. There's actually a logo I need to incorporate into there. But other than that, I think we're pretty much good to go on that. I don't know if I'll do too many more cold brews. Like, I honestly don't think it has a huge draw as far as audience goes. But I'll probably do a couple more just for funsies, you know? I think it's fun to have that kind of stuff on tap. So you can, you know, watch it and see how the process goes from sort of start to finish. I'm sorry that I didn't get any bottling steps into there, but what are you gonna do? I'm not going to nest it yet or anything like that. I might still do a couple more micro edits. We shall see. But as it stands, I'm pretty happy with that. So we'll just say Colt Brew 001 from NJ Stout. Go ahead and save that. And yeah, I think that's gonna close it out for today, guys. I think we've done everything we wanted to come here to do. We got some time into the Proxy Art Challenge, which was fun. We got some time on some editing done. We got a couple of videos edited, which is nice. Always like to get some videos edited while I have the time. So just mark that down on my upcoming calendar here. We are so far ahead, though. I don't want to do too many more editing days, I guess. But we'll try to do some more Proxy Art Challenge tomorrow, I think. If you guys want to come by, stop by, see how that goes. And maybe something else. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But for today, that's all I got for you guys. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing some previews, or you enjoyed learning a little bit how editing works, or how Unity and Maya works. It's fun for me, showing it off, letting you guys know a little bit under the hood stuff. I think you can just kind of appreciate stuff more when you understand a little bit more about how it works. You know? I certainly do. So, thanks a lot, guys. Why don't you have a great day? I will see you next time. Peace out.